Hey, what's up guys? I have a new knife review. What do you know? This guy does knives too? Yes I do. I've been a little away from home the last couple months, maybe, years. No, of course, I love my knives. You guys know that. Today I have a knife to review. This is one I've been using for a long time now. I teased you guys with this one in webcam videos in the past. You've seen it here and there, and it's finally time for a review. Now, first off, I got this knife from one of my friends online. His name is Manny, and he started his own knife company as well as sells other things as well. But it's Escala Industries, and that's what the etched EI is, because when I showed this knife on video, a lot of people were like, what's with the blade there? EI is for Escala Industries. And this is a former U.S. Marine, current police, Leo. He's making these knives. A lot of guys in his unit and people, overseas in Afghanistan, military personnel, are using these knives. And he had offered me this knife for free to test, to try out. This is one of the, not necessarily a prototype, but one of the very first early production models. There have been some things that's changed, particularly just the fit and finish is basically what happened, because when he sent this one out to me, he hand ground the swedge on here, as well as just some inconsistencies you could see here in the spine, just kind of rough. That's changed, but the basic design and stuff has not changed. These are custom knives. They're straightforward fixed blades. I mean, it's not like when I say custom knife, there's a difference between a custom fixed blade and a custom slip joint. The process of making these is more straightforward and easier, okay? Price will always reflect that. Basically, the workmanship, the time and effort it goes into, producing anything really. And of course, qualities are taken into consideration there as well. But Manny's a really nice guy, and he originally sent me, when I first met him, we were talking about, he was coming up or inventing this magazine pocket clip is basically was. I did a review on it. It was called the Misses, and it's very cool. And if you haven't seen some of my older videos, check that out. It's the magazine restraint system, or MRS, or Misses, and basically it's a pocket clip for your 1911 magazines. He also made it for Glocks, I believe, and it's so that you can kind of have it on your pocket for your spare magazine. Okay, again, this is coming from a perspective of an ex-Marine and a current duty police officer in a very big metropolitan area. Okay, you're talking about someone, he's a cop who has to deal with crime. He's not some, guy out in the woods that twiddling his thumbs because there's nothing bad happening, He knows what it is to be up in, in the crap, so to speak. And it was a great idea. It's just this idea of, well, where do I put my spare magazine? If I keep it on a clip, a holster or a clip on my belt, then it's a little bit hard to get to. Some people keep it in their back pocket, whatever. His system was very straightforward, and you can keep it in your offhand front pocket on your pants, and it was easy to get to. So that's how I was kind of introduced to him. We had a friendship just because I watched his videos, he watched mine, and then he was creating this magazine invention. And it basically was a replacement foreplate for your 1911 mags. And then eventually, when he got into knife stuff, it was, a pretty obvious choice to ask me if I was interested in trying his knife. And I've been sitting on this and using it on and off for months now. I mean, you're looking, I want to say close to a year. It's been a long time. And I've used it extensively in the beginning, and then I want to hold off because my initial impressions were not that good. To be honest, I mean, I always keep it real with you guys, it was not that good. I was not impressed with the specific steel. I loved the knife design. I loved the idea behind it. I did not like the choice of material. Okay, that was my biggest issue with this. So I sat on it for a while. I every now and then go outside, chop with it a little bit, and it's got a fair amount of use on it. I mean, altogether, probably 2 hours collectively of actual hard use. And that may not seem like a lot to some people, but 2 hours of consistent use on any knife is a lot. Some people would be lucky to accumulate 2 hours worth of use on their, their folding knives in the course of a year or two. But it really just depends on who you are and what you're doing. But when I'm reviewing different types of stuff, particularly knives, I really like to just use them very hard and for a very long period of time to really get a better understanding of how they're going to perform. Anyone could take a knife and cut open a box and say, yeah, it's good, it works. You know, that's not the point of a product review in general, but with knives being usable tools, not just decorative pieces, you really have to know what you're talking about, at least to have an effective, you know, honest, straightforward review. There's plenty of people who don't know what they're talking about, and that's fine too. You know, you can do whatever you want. But, you know, the reason I'm even talking about this right now is because the interest is sparked. And I recently saw Wrangler Star's video, Cody, and he was talking about how sometimes, you know, reviews on YouTube are disappointing, and it's just fresh in my mind. That's why I'm kind of talking about it. And yeah, there's people on here who don't necessarily use something long enough to have what I would consider to be an effective or reliable opinion. But you know, to each their own. It doesn't really matter. Whatever you watch videos for, if it's entertainment or information, you always should take it with a little grain of salt, you know? But anyway, nothing to do with this knife. So let's get on to the review. First of all, I'm going to put a link directly in the description box to the website. He does sell a couple different versions of this knife. This is the 6-inch version, okay, with a 6-inch blade, and the Tanto, or modified Tanto. You know, naturally, if I was just having a conversation with you, I would be saying, you know, what kind of blade style is that, Jeff? I would say that it was a Tanto. That's how I say it. But some people like Tanto. So when I'm doing a review and I happen to see it, it's always like this mini breakdown in my mind going, oh, which one do I use? I don't want anyone to like think I'm wrong. It doesn't really matter. They're interchangeable. You know, I say tomato because I think that's the right way, but whoever does say tomato out there, you fancy son of a bee, you know, whatever. And that reminded me of Mad Bad Voodoo. He says that, whatever. I like that. This is, wow, I should start this one over. I'm just gonna shoot right through it. I'm thinking I had too much time on YouTube, you know, spending so much time here. Every time I talk about something, I'm thinking of YouTubers. All good people though, nonetheless. So yes, there's no real name for this. It's like tactical fixed blade, or I forget exactly what he puts it, but it's not like a specific model or anything. This is just a 6-inch model. He also has a 4-inch bladed version, as well as something brand new I just noticed is a cool little neck knife. Very sweet. Now, here's the thing with this, the steel. Okay, this is the only knife I've ever used with this steel, and it is an AR400 carbon steel, which is very unique to me. I've never heard of it before, never used it before, and I was not impressed with it, honestly. I mean, this is honest, guys. The reviews always are honest. And this is, although as much as Manny is my friend and I want to say this is the best knife in the world, it's really not. It's the design is very cool. I love it, but the steel choice was not good. I'm not sure exactly why. Maybe it's just what was available to him or the company. And I really have to do an update on this as well. I'll put it in the description box if they change the steel or not. Okay, I'll put the steel type because I don't know what the current production is, being that this one was kind of a pre-production model. But yeah, the AR400 carbon steel I found to be very soft. It sharpened up beautifully. I mean, razor sharp edge, and it just did not hold it at all. This could be a heat treat issue. I don't know if it's the steel itself. Again, I have nothing to compare it to, so I don't know what variable here has gone awry, but not good at all. And I'm going to show you some demo footage of me chopping with this, which first of all, it was a horrible chopper. Absolutely horrible at chopping. It's not intended as a survival knife, but that's when I have a big fixed blade, anything that's over 6 inches or so, the first thing I do to test it is I go out there and I start chopping at wood. Now, even though it's not its intended purpose, it should, with a little bit of weight here, being 8.4 ounces and having a large blade, it should have a little heft, enough to chop some wood, but was not good. Very unimpressive. In addition to that, I was doing some tip testing. That's fun to say, tip testing. And sounds kind of dirty. Stabbing into the tree, or the wood in this case, and just trying to pry out chips of the wood. And it very, very easily bent, okay? So it's definitely on the soft side, and of course, with the performance of it dulling so quickly, it's not good. Very soft. Now, again, this could be either due to the steel itself, the qualities of the steel, or perhaps just I happen to get like a early production lemon. Maybe they're still trying to perfect the whole heat treating process. I'm not sure where their sources were, if they were doing it in-house or sending it somewhere. Whatever the case is, it would stink if my personal experience with this has a negative effect on the hull, because again, they probably are slightly different. This, again, being almost a year old now, things have changed. I know that for a fact. They have changed certain things. So, steels, heat treat, type, process, all that stuff could have changed. So I'm not going to talk specifically as much to the steel in case it has changed, but I will talk to the design. And I absolutely love the design. What stands out so much when you look at this is, of course, the angle on the handle here. It offers a very natural grip, okay, and it's kind of like, it's reminiscent of like the K-Bar TDIs, Tactical Defense Institute fixed blades with the very heavy angled handle, okay. It just gives you two things really. First of all, a natural grip on it, okay. The weight placement of the blade to handle is very good. It really feels very comfortable in the hand. It's ergonomic. Having a longer, heavier blade like this, it doesn't feel like I'm wielding a heavy knife at all. I really like that. In addition to that, if I hold my arm out, it's hard to see. I can't really get it all in frame, but when I hold my arm out naturally, okay, it's almost like a pistol grip. Obviously, it's not as extreme like some of the TDIs, but that slight bend really, really enhances your cutting performance, okay? It really does help, particularly with slashing, because that blade is already angled in. So as you're coming in for a slash, whether it's slow to cut something or like in a defensive situation, it aids in that. It helps you quite a bit. Similar to how a recurve blade would kind of bite deeper into material as you're cutting, So I really like that as well. Now with this one, he did sharpen the swedge for me, and I think for its intended purpose as a defense slash hard use tool, okay, this is the knife you can go out and pry with. Now let's get back to that whole steel issue. I wouldn't particularly pry with this specific one because it's so soft, but at least I know it's not going to snap. Most likely, the blade itself would probably bend a good amount before it actually broke. But given the fact that the newer models are, tweaked a little bit, so it's not as soft of a steel, or, if it's the same AR400 but properly heat treated and has better performance that way, given that fact, this would be an awesome tool that you could actually, really, really beat the crap out of and not have to worry about it, I'm talking about, besides a defensive knife where you're using it, for tactics, making it tactical, you're talking about like a rescue tool. All right, if you need to just quickly pry something, smack on something, use it as a makeshift hammer, whatever you have to do. And again, think about what this was made for. This is made for Leos and military, and that's the kind of knife they're looking for. They're looking for something they can beat the crap out of. They don't need a collector's knife that they can't use. It's all about function over form. But overall, I think it's an intimidating knife. I think it's pretty cool. And I think if someone's giving you a hard time and perhaps threatening you in a very serious manner and you were to take this out, they might think twice about it. So yeah, the handle angle is awesome. I'm a huge fan of this, and I am a big fan of the TDI knives as well. Okay, so when he first showed me his sketches of the knife design, I thought like, oh, that's gonna be pretty cool, because I love the K-Bar TDIs, all of them, all the variants. Now you can see there's a very heavy, aggressive jimping here for your thumb. And I find that with this handle angle and the way this is angled here, it's almost like my thumb wants to ride higher than this, okay? So to naturally put the meat of my thumb like that, it feels a little uncomfortable. If I just, pick this knife up naturally, I'm higher up on it like this. So I don't think it's as effective. However, I can tell you if I choke down on it and I let my thumb kind of wrap around the top of the handle here and not even touch that at all, and that's probably more how it's intended, is kind of a medium grip. I mean, when I try to use this on purpose, I'm almost too high on it because the finger trail is so high. So to get a grip like this, I don't really think it's a knife you're going to do fine work with, honestly. I mean, this is a grip you might use for finer work, but you got a 6-inch blade here. You know, you shouldn't be using this to peel an apple. You know, grab the right tool for the job. But if it happens to fit your hand comfortably, which mine, it does, the handle, but the whole point I'm trying to make here is that this isn't doing much for me. That's all. Not really doing much at all. Another thing I don't like about it is this little, where the finger trail extends past the ricasso. That's not doing much for me. You got to either go one way or the other. In my opinion, knock it off. Just get, because I don't know why you have such this awesome, big, just really, really cool knife, and then like that, it just doesn't match it. It's that tiny little piece of metal. Like I would either completely grind that off, or I would make it more substantial and just come out heavier on it, you know, just a thicker piece. It just seems out of place to me. It almost bugs me. It's like something's on my knife, I want to like, what's on my knife? And I want to pick it off. But yeah, kick my camera. That's good. I like the knife design. I would certainly tweak it here and there. Steel choice, or again, I don't know what the specific issue here is, but steel choice or perhaps the heat treat is a buzzkill for me for this one. What I'll do is, forget the description box, you know. At the end of the video, I'm going to put some words in because I'm going to talk to Manny and see what the deal is with the current production on this knife and see if anything's changed, okay? Because I don't want my, you know, these, of course, are always my honest opinions, and I don't want to basically come out and say it's a piece of crap if they've, you know, fixed the issues. So, but yeah, I mean, like I said, the design's awesome, but I don't think that the end result or performance is, at least to my liking, for the price range. Now, keep in mind, this is also a custom knife. It's a simple custom knife. You know, it's you know, solid, full tang, piece of steel, sharpened up, paracord wrapped. You know, it's straightforward. But custom knives are expensive. Even something like this is normally expensive. The price on the 6-inch ones are $199. I think the 4-inch are around $150, and the neck knives are like, you know, $110 or something. For $200, I can honestly say that you have a lot of better options out there on the market. Okay, directly compared with this specific knife, not just this style or this brand. This knife right here in front of me, I did not like the performance. All right, now this was sent for testing, of course. I did not pay for this knife. Had I paid $200 for this knife, I would have been very disappointed. That's just my honest opinion. Yeah, I don't know. That's pretty much it. I wasn't blown away by it. That's all. Because I do have quite a bit of you know, experience and exposure to different types of knives out there. So, you know, at the end of the day, there's a lot to compare to. There really is, and it's hard if you don't really have a lot of knives and you get something like this. This is the best thing in the world to you, and that's totally fine. And I've had this conversation before. The people who can get a $5 flea market knife, you know, or, you know, they go to Chinatown and they get like, you know, $10 automatic knife, and that just totally floats their boat. That is awesome. That is the coolest thing in the world, and I'm extremely happy for you. I'm not gonna, you know, poo-poo your cheap knife just because it's cheap or because it's not to my standards or my likings. We all have different opinions. We all have different likes and wants and needs and so forth. But because I've had so many different knives over the years, I mean, literally thousands of knives have passed in my hands. I've not owned them all, but I've had a unique opportunity to try many, many knives. And it's such a cool thing, but at the same time, because I've been exposed to such nice stuff, I have a harder time sometimes really appreciating cheap stuff. Not because it's cheap and it's good, just because sometimes cheap is fine and cheap makes you happy, you know? And I have a hard time getting back to that point, the innocence of cheap knives. And it's just stuff like this, like, because, not that this is a cheap knife in any sense, it's a quality knife, and it's you know, it's not a cheap price by any means. But the reason I'm telling you all this is that for $200, I know for a fact there are better options out there. So I can't consciously say that this is a great option for $200. That being said, I can tell you for a fact, I know that there are plenty of military people out there and law enforcement officers who use this knife and are extremely happy with its performance. That's fine. They're not knife reviewers, they're not knife testers, they're not knife nuts. They're just guys who need real tools. And in the field and in real life, these are working for them. In addition to that, like anything else in life, even that expensive car, you may look at a $200,000 car and say, well, why is this worth so much money? Things are worth whatever you're willing to pay for it. It's definitely the cool factor, right? I mean, if you like the style of this knife, you're not going to find it anywhere else. This is it. So, you know, for 200 bucks, it's really not that much of a price to pay for something like that if it's going to make you very happy. But again, just as someone who's used so many different knives, it's hard to justify it on this one. Just my personal preference and taste. But anyway, it does come with a Kydex sheath here, which is a perfect fit, and I do like the belt loops on this one. I like the setup quite a bit. Very effective, obviously. It works just fine, like most sheaths do. Plenty of carry options here. You know, all these different riveted holes. Although this is huge, it wouldn't actually be kind of cool if you did carry this as a neck knife, and you would be the coolest person in the world with scoliosis. But you know, whatever you want to do to impress your friends. That's pretty much it. I don't know if I mentioned, I didn't really go over specs so much, but I do have them in my mind here. The steel was AR400 carbon. Again, it's 3/16 inch stock, 8.4 ounces overall, and just under a foot, 11.5 inches on this one, overall length, and of course 550 paracord wrapped. So anyway, that's it. The point of the review is to give an honest opinion. It always was, still is, and always will be. So I would assume that if you happen to make your own videos and your own reviews, that you would be honest as well, because they're not helping anyone if you're just making up stuff either to sound interesting and or to appease companies or people, for that matter. By the way, I have been working out outside a lot, like all these cuts and stuff. It's not knife cuts. It's a blister that just exploded. Disgusting. Like, I took my work glove off and I'm like, ugh, it was like this big old bubble. And I was looking at it and went to go grab something and went, it was really gross and it hurt. And then this is just a scrape. I'm just all beat up and dirty and nasty. But you know what? It's awesome because it's springtime and I'm outside doing stuff and I feel accomplished and I'm getting crap done. And I got another video I'm going to post later about following through in life. It's kind of a life lesson video, and how if you go do something, do it right the first way and not to, you know, kind of beat around the bush and half crap things. I don't really curse. I was going to say, you know, I was going to say half-ass it. That's not such a bad thing. Oh my God, I know. It happened. You were here to witness it. I said half-assed. Big deal. Anyway, that's all, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it, as always. And I really hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. And you can definitely expect some more videos from me very soon, because it's cold today. That's why I'm inside filming, because it's too cold to go outside, and we've had these beautiful days, and all of a sudden we're getting, like, you know, crappy, rainy, dreary, you know, moody days. So what does that mean for you? More videos from me, which is a cool thing. And I missed you guys. I do. Go on like 3 days and I feel like I was on vacation or something. I miss my friends. And yes, by the way, it's okay to have friends on the internet. It doesn't make you stupid or a loser, like some people like to believe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Now, because I've rambled so long, at the tail end here, I'll show you the demos and the footage of me testing this knife. And the very final screen will be some wordage with an update on this knife and if it's changed or not. So that's all. Thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.
Now you're a man, a man, man, man. Now you're a man, a mounty, mounty, man, a man, man, man. You are now a man, you're a man.
Looking at this big old dead tree here. And we're going to be chopping this down. So, just testing out a knife of a dead tree on the property here. So if I could stabilize this enough. Let's see, where should we go over here? Let's go over here so you can really kind of see it as it's chopping. Okay, so what knife are we testing out today? Remember this? Showed this to you a while ago. I did like a teaser type video. Have not reviewed this yet, but I want to do a demo video and see how it works. I have a little bit of a handicap today because I got a nasty blister. You guys, yeah, let's see. I'm doing a lot of outside work lately. Got a pretty good old blister on the palm of my hand. I still have the cut in my other hand, which I got the glove on, but looks like I was crucified. Anyway, so that'll be a little bit of a handicap, but it shouldn't be that much. We'll see. See if I can get through this thing. All right, so I'm gonna say the diameter of the tree here is probably 5 inches, 5 to 6 inches, somewhere around there. So it's pretty decent. I mean, you can see the size of the blade up against it. And let's go to town here. Make sure I get in frame. Let me also preface this with it is a fighting knife, but people love these demos, so we'll see if it does chop a tree. So far, even though it's canted the way it is, and the blade has some heft to it, it's not a really heavy blade. It's not doing an awesome job right off the bat, but you know, it wasn't meant for it. Anyway, we'll keep chopping around and see what we get to. Well, let's take a look at the progress here. Flip my thing back around so I can see what I'm doing. Here we go. Not that great, to be honest. I'm exerting quite a bit of energy. Down how you can see, you know, compared to the blade. Not doing all that great. I mean, it's doing something, but I wouldn't say it's suited for wilderness use or at least chopping down trees. Just my opinion. But then again, it's not made for that. It's just, you know, it's a test. It is what it is. You know, you wouldn't try to take some piece of crap car and race it with race cars, you know. It's just not meant for this performance. Thought I'd try anyway. So, get some out here. Keep going a little bit. See how far I can get on it. I can stabilize the camera here. There we go. You guys see that? Yeah. Yep. It's cutting it. Oh, so slowly. Alright, well, all is not lost. We're going to do some stabbing tests here in the tree. Don't have a great stabbing ability right now because of that. An old blister in the palm didn't feel so good. But basically just going to stab into the wood a little bit and pry the tip out. Okay, this is going to put stress on the tip. I'm not trying to make it snap, but we'll see if it does. You know, that's why you do testing like this. You know, if this is something you're going to be rough with your knife, maybe something you do where you stab in and you just can't pull it out, so you're going to have to kind of pry yourself out. It's a good little test. You see a lot of people doing it. Let's try on a different plane here. Now for the test to work, you do have to hit the tree. Just a little side note there, since I completely missed. And try this again the other way. Man, this is killing my palm. Alright, well, we do have a wicked bend in the tip. And this will focus in. You can probably see that. So a nice little bend. Shouldn't say nice, it's not a good thing. But nope, don't want to do that. So definitely definitely not a wilderness knife in my opinion. But again, not meant for wilderness stuff, so try to use the tree to bend that back. Let's say it's going this way, so yeah. Could just put it on a vise and hammer it back gently. Let's see. Oh, I bent it the other way. Okay, so we're gonna try this again. And let's see. Huh. Straightening it out. Again, not the way you're supposed to. But yep. Okay. It's definitely straighter. Let me do one more. It's bending this way. I have to kind of think of which way it's bending, so I have to drop the knife. All right. Perfect. That is definitely not ideal. But obviously I got it back straight. So that what does that really tell me? It tells me that the blade, at least it won't chip out. Your tip won't snap. It will bend. It seems pretty darn flexible. So that's kind of a good thing for outdoor knives, but the Tanto version here and just the lack of heft, it's not a great chopper. I mean, like you saw before, it'll get through. It's just painstakingly slow in my opinion. It's not really suited for that function, if you ask me. So, anyway, yeah, figured I'd do some testing. And I'm going to give this knife a second chance to redeem itself. Try a different piece of dead wood here. This has got to be, I want to say, I don't know, 7 or 8 inches across, and it's probably about 35 feet long, and I got to get rid of it. I've been dragging it around here. I've only moved about 20 feet or so, and I figured this is stupid. Why don't I just cut it in half, or chunk it up into pieces first? So it's a good time to give this knife another chance to start chopping. So let's angle this down a little bit. Set the camera up. Sometimes you might do a chopping test on a piece of wood, and there's so many different types of trees, and there's so many different stages of decay and so forth. This one is completely, dry. But just gonna give this another chance. Let me bring the camera over here. Another chance at this to see if perhaps it was just where should I cut this? I'll cut a little piece off the end. And you can see the length of the blade here compared to the log itself. The log is slightly wider than the sharpened portion of the blade, so it definitely has its work cut out for it. But I figured I'd give it another shot on a different piece of wood, because maybe it'll react differently, you know, or you know, do a little bit of a better job. Maybe it'll do worse, who knows. But I figured I'd give it another shot here. So let me fix my gloves here for a second. All right, and we'll get to town. Make sure I'm in frame, which I am. Here we go. It's not taking big bites in here. It's just kind of, I don't know, taking slivers out. And it's got a little bit of heft to it. It's just, you know. Nope. I'm going to say that's not going to work because the energy I'm using, and I'm just, you know, just taking little slivers off of it. There's not really chunking out. I could find myself standing here for, you know, half an hour trying to get to this tree, and just not worth the energy. So my conclusion is, you know, it'd probably be better suited for its original purpose and not to stray away from that. Definitely a fighting knife or defensive knife, and with flesh and bone, I'm sure it'll do plenty fine, you know, with a nice sharp edge. So anyway, that's all. Anyway, there you go. Just remember, use the right tool for the job.